Hey, how's it going? This is Joe and Tell, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Neumi BS5. Alright, so I'm here editing this video, and I just got notified from Neumi that they're going to be at the Hi-Fi Summit, and they're going to be giving away 15 pairs of the BS5s. Back to your scheduled program. But before we get into it, here's a message from our show sponsor, the Hi-Fi Summit. OSD Black is a high-performance line of upgraded speaker and electronics products. SVS, providing thrilling and immersive high-end sound with unmatched performance for the price. Have you ever wanted to attend a Hi-Fi trade show but couldn't? Now you can. On June 26th to 30th, the Hi-Fi Summit begins. It's going to be a 5-day event available to people worldwide. There you can see your favorite brands, and you'll get to see all the new products before anybody else. If you're shopping for products, you can even narrow down your search based on price and other specific criteria. You'll be able to chat live with other audio enthusiasts, ask questions about products and get them answered directly by the companies. You'll be able to vote for best in show. You can even leave testimonials for your favorite brands. Tickets are $49 for all 5 days, but if you sign up before June, you'll be able to get them at the early bird special of $24 for all 5 days. Those with tickets will be able to see show specials, exclusive discounts, as well as entering contest giveaways for some ridiculously awesome prizes, like entire systems. Crazy prizes. If you can't buy a ticket, we completely understand. We're going to be live streaming all the seminars for free to the general public. Also, after the show's over, we're going to open up the site for everyone to see. But no trade show is complete without an after party. So we're going to have DJ Chana De Silva, aka Techno Dad, spinning every single night. So you'll be able to sit back at home, enjoy the music, bump it on your system, dance, do whatever you want to do. He's even planning on doing an audiophile night where he's going to play his favorite audiophile test tracks. You can play them on your system and he'll tell you what he's looking for every step of the way. It's going to be awesome. Go to thehiFiSummit.com, buy your ticket, and let your hi-fi journey to the top begin. Okay, so this is a small speaker from a company, Neumi. It's a brand new company, and they have this affordable speaker. Right now, these sell for $89 on Amazon. So that's great, but how do they sound? How do they perform? That's what's important. So here they are here, and to me, they look pretty nice. I like the way they look. As you can tell, they have a 5-inch woofer here. This is a fiberglass cone with a rubber surround and a 1-inch silk dome tweeter with a nice little waveguide here. And as you can see here, there are dual front ports here. And so that should be good if you need to use them near a wall. Let's see. So right now I'm looking at the manual, and they claim a frequency response of 50 hertz to 20 kilohertz. And it says typical in room. So we'll see what that means. Nominal impedance is 6 ohms. Sensitivity is 86 decibels. And the power handling is from 15 to 100 watts per channel. So these are 7.5 pounds each. And so they're not super heavy, but they have some decent weight to them. I'm looking at the finish right now, and I think they look nice. I like the overall fit and finish of these. You know, the way that the sides curve like this, and the wood veneer or the vinyl on here looks well done. Like there's a little bit of a texture to it, and I like the color. So it does have a magnetic grill. Boom. Just like that. The magnets are really hard to take off on here. All right, there it is. And it comes with these little rubber feet here. Nice, 3M, nice. Let's take a look at the back here, and you will find 5-way binding post. Nice, nothing crazy, and of course no port because it's in the front. All right, so the first time I listened to these, my first impression was that the soundstage was nice and wide, and I was getting nice vocals, and the clarity was there. And I was surprised, you know, there's some sparkle there, you know, everything sounded pretty good. And then when the bass hit, I was like, there's no bass on here. And granted, I was comparing them next to some Q Acoustics 3030Is that are huge compared to these. But yeah, I had those in at the same time, and in comparison, these they didn't have too much bass. That was my first impression. And the way I had it set up initially was I had them pulled away from the wall, you know, the way that we usually recommend, like, you know, take your speakers, pull them away from the wall, you know, a few feet if you can. It'll give you better imaging, and the bass won't sound so muddy, right? Now, you know, that's all well and good, and I figured, hey, they're $89 speakers. What can you really expect, right? And so just for fun, I decided I would try them out in my living room, in my home theater setup. And there, I have to have speakers close to the wall just because of the way it's set up here. Not ideal at all. And so they were close to the wall, right? And I had it set up. Normally I have my ELAC UB5s there, which have a good amount of bass. They're rear ported. And so I really have to turn down the bass on those. So I had them set up there with no Odyssey, no nothing, right? Just pure direct. And I was like, where did all this bass come from all of a sudden? I had to make sure, I had to make sure the sub was off. I really did have to make sure. I went and felt the sub. Nothing was happening. I'm like, what's going on? Because I had them over here and there was no bass. Now I have them in my living room and all of a sudden there's like a ton of bass coming out of these. And I was surprised. I was happy, right? And it turns out that it seems like these are made to be close to a wall, right? And so I wanted to confirm this with measurements before I went and, started assuming things. But yeah, they sound really, really awesome in my home theater over here. I mean, to be honest, if I had to only have these speakers, right? If that was my option, I had to use these for my left, center, right, rear surrounds, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I also have a good SVS sub, so keep that in mind. If I had to do it with no sub, well, I would probably want a little bit more for movies because movies go pretty deep. These have bass, but keep in mind I'm not talking about subsonic bass. They have a decent amount of bass, nothing crazy. Okay, they're not hitting 20 hertz or below, guaranteed. But yeah, for music, all of that, like I was very, very surprised actually at the imaging and their ability to kind of just kind of get out of the way so you're not really hearing the speaker. And that's typical for speakers that are smaller. Typically, the smaller the baffle, the better it is at doing that. And because it's curved like that, that also helps with that baffle step. All right, so here are the Neumi BS5s, and looking at it here on REW, and this is one of the speakers, and this is the other here. So I wanted to make sure that they're both the same because the first thing that stood out to me is there's this dip around 850 hertz around there. So from 800 to 900, so it's pretty narrow, right? And if you were to smooth things out using psychoacoustic smoothing, which is kind of replicating what your ears would probably hear, then you can see that there's still a dip there, but not as noticeable as what you would, when you're looking at it with no smoothing. But just something to know that it is there. The other thing that you'll also notice here is I calibrated this for 85 decibels. So you'll see that the top end is nice and flat. And that's what I was hearing, that the top end was really nice on here. And if you look at the bass, right? So these are definitely not the flattest speakers that I've ever seen or heard, but the bass is a little boosted here around 100 hertz, which is okay, And the other thing that you'll notice is the -3 dB point is around 60 hertz. Okay, so that's not great, right? That's what I was noticing when I had these pulled away from the wall. They were dropping off at 60 hertz, which I'm like, well, that's not really very good. I would prefer if you had to have bookshelf speakers that are small, that that they can't, if you can't use a sub, you probably want something that gets close to 40 at least, right? Just to hear some of that lower bass. But yeah, these were only getting down to 60 hertz, and so that's what I was noticing. Now check it out. This is what happens when I put them near a wall, right? So I had to check it a few times to see if I was getting the same results. And I took an average of those two, and it looks something like this, right? So take a look at the -3 dB point now. So go to 82, right? And right there. So around 40 hertz, which is what I was saying. And so that's a nice increase, which is what you expect when you put speakers near a wall. But that can go very wrong. If you put speakers near a wall, a lot of speakers that are rear ported, what you'll notice is this bass response doesn't stay flattish like this, right? It just goes way up like crazy, 18 decibels or something crazy like that. And so this is in my room, and so it might be different for each person. But what I just noticed is that it still stays well behaved, right? Which is surprising to me. It looks like they kind of designed it for this use case, which makes sense. You know, a lot of people are going to be putting these near a wall. They're front ported. So yeah, kind of nice here. So very usable. If I take away the other responses, this is something that you might see. So the treble is down a little bit, which you can turn up because it does hinge somewhere around the 1 kilohertz range, which is typically where tone control starts. So you kind of bump that up if that's what you like, or just turn these down, right? So you can turn the bass down. A lot of people recommend that. So yeah, it looks to me that they designed these to be near a wall. And I think that is awesome because I know that most people are going to put these near a wall. You know, if you're going to buy some $89 speakers, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have them on stands, pulled away from, pulled away from the walls and perfectly symmetrical, all that. It's probably not for a dedicated listening room. You're probably just going to put them where they can fit, and a lot of times out of the way near a wall. And so if that's the use case, I would definitely recommend these, right? If you're not going to use it that way, if you do want to use them, on a desk where you're going to be pulling them away from the walls and things like that, well, you know what? You may not get as much bass as other speakers. All right, so here we are at the speaker leaderboard, and we have to put these Neumi BS5 somewhere. Let's see where they place. So as far as best bookshelf, right? So let's just scroll down the list here. So we have, my Denton 85th anniversary. They're gone. That darn fire. So let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit. There's a lot of great speakers here in the bookshelf category. So we have the Mica RB42s, Yamaha S803s, Pioneer BS22 LRs. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to put them right around. So here are the Dayton Audio MK402s, the Mica 000s, MB42X. I would like to put these. So this is really the battle, right? MB42X versus Neumi BS5. That's straight up the battle. And the Mica MB42X are rear ported, and they had a nice crossover in them. And these were what I used. These were like my entry back into audio after a long hiatus. And so they were very inexpensive, and I was surprised with how well they actually sounded. Now, these, of course, because they're rear ported, they are greatly affected when you put them near a wall, and they're using a 4-inch driver. So, they can reach their limits pretty quickly. They're also pretty small. They have magnetic grill. I mean, great value for sure on those MB42Xs. So I would like to put this slightly above the MB42X. Now, I would say this. This is considering that the Neumi BS5s are near a wall. If you have to put them on a desk where there's no wall nearby, then you might like the MB42X better, right? I don't recall seeing any dips in the MB42X. So if I were to put the MB42X above this, then that's perfectly fine. Just know that they're very close. Depends on the use case. Regarding best for desktop, in this case, again, it's going to depend on whether your speakers are close to the wall or not. But I would say, in general, near field, I'll give it to the MB42X on this one, just because it has a more accurate frequency response. So if you want to use them near field, maybe check out the MB42X. Very close here. So best for under $100, the top is these Pioneer SP BS22 LRs when they're on sale, the Mica 000s, the Dayton Audio MK402 BT. So these are Bluetooth and they're powered, and then the MB42X. Okay, so best under. Are they going to top the MB42X overall? That's tough. I'm going to get a lot of flack from the budget audiophile community because they love these MB42Xs. But let's just say this. We have the Mica 000s here, Dayton, Neumi BS5s, MB42X. You know what? They're interchangeable pretty much. Depends on the use case again. And then finally, finally, I guess one thing I should say is that I think that the BS5s, for me, image better. They have that waveguide. And so I was very impressed with how it was doing that, how it was creating a nice soundstage, and, you know, the imaging was nice. So that's what I was impressed with. And the bass is capable, again, if you have them close to a wall. All right, so best overall sound quality, regardless of price. Where do you fit? I don't know why I have the OOs below the MB42X over here. I think they should be above. But anyway, best overall sound regardless of price. I'm going to have to put these overall sound. MK402BT. Best overall sound regardless of price. I don't know why this mica OOs are below this. I'm going to have to just, maybe it got moved, but I do think that the OOs sound really good for their price. I'm going to have to put them right here, right in between the two micas. So there you have it. That is my review of the Neumi BS5s from Neumi Tech. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And anyway, that's it. If you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. I have to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting me and allowing me to do what I love to do here on YouTube. If you want to become a patron, check it out at patreon.com/JoeAndTell. Take care. Bye-bye.